Okay, CF Moto 650 MT. The alternator is not putting out sufficient voltage, so we need to replace the voltage. So first of all, we need to remove this cover and then that cover, and that will reveal the rectifier, which is under there. The alternator fits in behind this cover here, so we'll also need to take that off. Once the seat is off, we have 1, 2, 3 hex head 6mm hex head screws, 1 Phillips head screw there, 1 screw under there, and a pin underneath in there that needs to be, it's a panel pin. This side is also connected to your seat lock, which will probably remain connected to the bike. Once we get that bit off, this cover comes off with just the 1 screw down there. Take that off, and then they're little push pins that hold the rest on. Okay, now we have the covers off. We can see our rectifier right there in behind that box. And the plug we need is right in behind there. And on the other side of that, we have the ABS unit and also the rear suspension. So what we need to do is we need to take these 2 screws out, 10mm bolts, one there and one over there. Take those out. That will loosen this up. Of course, it won't come out of there, so you have to fiddle around and try to remove that plug, the one on the right hand side, the 3-pin plug that goes to the alternator. As you can see, I've removed the battery, and that's allowed me to just move this structure up a little bit to partly get that rectifier out, to then pull the plug, this one here, off the back of it. And when you pull that plug off, I'll just show you the new one. Little tang on the top here, which needs to be pushed down to be able to release that clip. So once you've released that clip, that's going to feed in to this piece of pipe here. You can just remove that altogether to give you a little bit of swinging room around there. That's just a heat shield, so that won't do very much at all. I don't know if you can see it. What they've done, they've put a zippy tie around that cable right there. Right into, where is it? It's gone, disappeared on me. There it is. Right down in just there. That's around the 3-core cable from your alternator, so you've got to cut that as well, because that's strapped to the frame. Okay, so you've got to get it out of there, and there's this little bit of hose here that's in the way, so lift that up a bit and it can slot through there and comes out through there, and then you've released the cable. Now we've got to take this bit off so we can get to the stator underneath there. Now that's going to leak oil, so probably a good idea to take this little cover off here so you don't dribble oil all over your motorbike, which is then going to drip and be a pain for the next 10 months. Okay, moment of truth. We've now got to undo all of these bolts here. This is a 1-piece cover. Hopefully it'll all come off with the gasket intact. That's what we hope for. So with all the bolts removed, there's a couple of tricky ones down the bottom there. You may have to take off the crash bar, but I managed to get them all out without, and it should come off hopefully without removing the crash bar. So right, once you get it off, of course you can see oil's gone everywhere. That's the piece that comes off. We can see our new stator there. You've got to be careful when you take it off, because these fall out. That's the starter gears there. You can see that's hooked onto the outside of the alternator cover. There's your little starter motor drive right up in there. So you just got to make sure when you put it back together that they are in the right spot. To remove the stator, you've got 1, 2, 3 hex bolts, plus another one there which just holds that cable in. So we'll pull that off and have a look at that. We've got something down there, I don't know what that does. We'll see what it is, look where it's going. Okay, so the cable goes around the back of that. Oh, that's all part of this. That you can see that's all part of that same device. So we'll rip that bolt off and we'll have a look at it. Looks like that bolt, that one there, had Loctite on it. So we better put a bit of that back when we replace it. Looks like they've put a bit of silicone on that to try to make it fit a bit better, so it doesn't weep behind there. Probably not a bad idea. So put a bit of silicone under my seal there. I've just put the retaining clip on, make sure it's hooked into that little doodad down the bottom there. Just got to tighten up my 3 bolts now and then put the whole lot back. You can see we're indeed fortunate. This gasket is in one piece and it's in good nick. Got a couple of locating dowels there, one at the top, one at the bottom, which is still on the case, so that should locate it all right. Righto, back on, up firmly. Just got to make sure those 2 pins go into the housing properly as you put it back on. We've got our leads here that we've got to tickle back in. Remember this little doodad back down here, that's got to be locked onto that bottom bolt hole when you put it back in. It's back on, all the bolts are done up. This cable's got to now be threaded back through. This one's got to be folded up, put back inside that bit of heat tube there, and then plug it back in, and hopefully we'll start charging our bike again. If you just take that cover off there, the one that's over the countershaft sprocket, that'll make it easier to fit that heat tube